Hello again, YouTubes. YouTube. Well, thank you very much for the ride on. Miss Norman, cheers. So, Saturday morning and another live stream. And a big one this morning. Like I said in the description, we're going up Ventoux today. Zwift's own interpretation of Mont Ventoux. So, this is according to the ride guide on Zwift, a 90-minute plus ride. 1,535 meters of ascent, I think. So, yeah, we're probably in for 90 minutes or so of pain face. And possibly not a lot of talking, which could be a bonus. So just getting warmed up here. Spin an easy gear. Heart rate's coming up nicely. Cheeky little climb to begin with. Now, there is a sprint segment here, and I've got a couple of recorded PRs on there. 33, 34 seconds. In all honesty, I'm not sure if I'm going to go for that today. See how I feel when I get there. But it is going to be a big effort this morning. So in terms of my own training, as you may know if you followed the channel, I've been on a charge back to fitness, probably about 7 months in now, and weighed in this morning at 95.1 kilos. Now, considering my starting point back at the beginning of May or middle of May was 141.6, I'm pretty happy with where I've got myself to. I'd a long time ago set an almost arbitrary target in Garmin, saying my goal weight was 95 kilos, which effectively I'm at, and that was based on that being the weight that I was when I did my last official Ironman 70.3, which was Exmoor or Wimbledon. So when I set that, God, my weight must have been mid 130s, and I kind of, I don't know, I think I'd written myself off at that point. I said to myself, it was aspirational, but possibly for me at that point not achievable. So, yeah, here we are, 7 months on from actually deciding to do it right, proving the Ironman motto of anything is possible is true. Crikey. Do you know what? I hadn't realised that you start climbing this so early. Right, here we go. Mesdames, Messieurs, bienvenue, bienvenue, mon Ventoux. So this is a long climb, and even though Garmin is saying to me go threshold, I think I'm going to pace it. Only ever been up the Zwift Ventoux once before. The only other virtual Ventoux I've ridden was on RGT. And I gotta say, look, I know I'm guilty because I haven't used it. But I don't know. I think I can see why Wahoo are killing it. You know, was it DC Rainmaker or GP Llama when they were talking about it? You know, it was a Monday evening or something, and there was 38 people on there. Well, I mean, you know, do the math. You aren't ever going to sustain that with that level of users on there. Compare that with a Monday evening on Zwift, where you'd have quite literally thousands. I mean, here we are, Saturday morning, just after 8 here in the UK, or 8:15 here in the UK, and there's 757 people on this course alone. So yeah, I think RGT, they were fighting a losing battle. But nonetheless, I can't help thinking that we've all kind of lost something. But there again, I'm no one to criticise, because, you know, I wasn't a regular user. I was blown away with it the first time I saw it. And I think that was, if memory serves, one of the videos I made during lockdown. And at that point, RGT, I don't think had been acquired by Wahoo. So, you know, they were doing their own thing. And I think they were effectively offering it free. At that point. And, you know, I'm not taking anything away from Zwift or either of them. They're both good in their own right. You know, I think I said when I reviewed it that the difference between this and RGT, sorry, I've just done a stupid French accent, RGT. The difference between this and RGT is that, I don't know, RGT feels more like a Microsoft Flight Simulator of cycling. Right, here we go. We said no to the bypass. We're going to the summit. So like I say, just keeping the effort moderate, I think, here. From memory, this really begins to hurt when you're about an hour in. And if you've never ridden the Zwift Ventoux course before, as you can see, it's different to Zwift in that we're not getting like the hairpin segment thing. Which is, I guess, both motivating and demotivating. Looking at the profile, it starts steeper than it sustains. So, best time up it this morning, Jay Fritzen, 2 minutes. Like I say, if I can get around 90, I will be happy. So before I noticed that the France course was on this morning, I had got a run planned after my bike, and I might still do that, but it might be, I think, what I'd refer to as a transition run. So instead of the full half hour I got planned, maybe 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Couple of 100 watts, that'll do yet. "19 kilometers at 8% average." There we are, 8%, that's our average. Take some gears off. So in other news, on the plan for today is a new group set for the Trek de Marne. I recently acquired a 105 R7000 group set from Merlin Cycles, because now I'm really back in the groove with my road bikes and road riding, I just wanted to bring that bike a bit more up to date. And it's wearing the group set on it at the moment. For anyone in the UK that remembers Only Fools and Horses, the group set is a bit like Trigger's broom. It's came out the dealer with ostensibly Ultegra. So it came out with Ultegra shifters, Ultegra front mech, Ultegra rear mech, and so they are still Ultegra at the back and 105 at the front. And most recently, the chain set died, or the cranks. Now, interestingly, those are a 10-speed Holotech, and they've developed what looks like a crack. Now, Shimano is telling us that the morning, Mike. The Shimano's telling us that the crank issues are only affecting 11-speed Ultegra and Durace. Well, all I can say is I've got a 105, 2012 105 Holotech crank that has a crack and is making exactly the same noise that Shimano tell you to look out for. So I do wonder if the Holotech issue runs a little deeper. Than just the high-end 11 speeds. So yeah, anyway, I replaced the original crankset just recently with Tiagra 4700, and I got to be honest, that's a good looking chain set, and it does the job really well. But I don't know, even when I was fitting it, you could feel the weight difference. I think it's probably 200 grams heavier than the 105 that it was replacing. Now, okay, get real in, 200 grams is nothing. But I don't know, the bike doesn't look right with this mix of components on it, so I really wanted to put 105 R7000 on there, and I went shopping on eBay for second-hand parts, and then I sort of priced up what I could do it for second-hand. Obviously there are some parts you can't buy second-hand. It's going to need new cables, they'll have to be new, going to need new bar tape and a few odds and ends, but we were talking 350 quid with essentially used components. And then I decided to have a wee look at Merlin Cycles, who have been kind of a mainstay over the years for me, for good value bike stuff. And they were doing a full 105R7000 group set for just over 400. So at that point it's become a no-brainer. So there's a brand new 105R7000 waiting to go on the track, which I think I'm going to fit today. Good grief, this is a long climb, isn't it? Grind it out here. Incidentally, I did look at Wiggle for the group set, but given what's going on at Wiggle, I'm certainly glad I didn't buy from them. So if you haven't heard, poor old Wiggle, it seems, are having hard times. Yeah, Mike, I'm kind of gutted because they're such a, Wiggle's a cornerstone, one of the places I used to default to. And from what I understand, which could well be wrong, it's just really that the parent company seem to have lost interest in them. I suppose the flip side of that is, these big companies have had it good for a while, but I can't help feeling it's not the fault of anyone at Wiggle. It's probably more to do with a corporate accountant and pencil chewer sitting in an ivory tower somewhere looking at a balance sheet. The flip side is, of course, that all of these big companies have been giving the smaller guys a hard ride for years. And one thing I am passionate about is supporting local bike shops. The service that you get from a local bike shop outweighs any perceived extra cost. At this point, I give a shout out to one of our local shops, Richardson's Cycles in Leigh-on-Sea. Eric and the guys there look after you. They know what they're talking about. They'll always do you a good deal. Sometimes better than you'll get, well, usually better than you get online. And if anything goes wrong with it, you haven't got the nightmare of shipping stuff back. You just go and see them and it's sorted. So this is a determined little climb. Getting on for 300 meters up it. So what's that? About 20%. Yeah, Mike, it is. I wouldn't say falling off, but coming off. 95.1 kilos this morning. And having essentially reached an arbitrary goal I'd set for myself, I think the focus is a little less on dramatic weight reduction and more towards building up the fitness. I'd love to give that person a ride on. It just gave me a ride on, but I'll mess all my screens up if I try that. And kudos. 3.2 watts per kilo. So yeah, this isn't going to be particularly interesting this morning, I don't think. Purely because it's just a sustained effort for about 90 minutes. So yeah, having hit 95 kilos, that's what I was when I raced my last official half iron. Yeah, another good question, Mike. No is the simple answer. What I'm doing is I'm letting my Garmin watch guide me. So if it tells me to go threshold, I go threshold. If it tells me to rest, I take it easy. I think I'm going to get a couple of races booked for next year, and I think it's when you've got a hard goal like that that you rely more on a training plan, or I do. I remember for Ironman, I bought the pink book on Iron Fit Secrets or whatever it's called, and just followed the plans in there, and they were incredibly helpful in getting me across the line. And quite a departure from kind of how I thought I should be training, because until I read those books, I'd always train on effort. And these books, effort or distance. So I'd say, for example, I need 100 kilometers this morning, and go out and do it. Whereas the Ironman training programs in that book encourage you to think in duration. So your training day might be a 1 hour swim, 1 hour bike, 1 hour run. They will prescribe some metrics for those, but the the main thing is to make sure you're hitting the durations. And to some extent, I still train that way when I train properly. I think long climbs like this are great for endurance sport training as well, because when you train for like an Ironman, it's as much about getting your head in the right place. Yeah, Mike, I am keeping my motivation. We're all human, and there are days when I just say, you know, or feel like I can't be arsed. But what I'm doing is just remembering each day how good I feel after it. And that is more of a driver to do it than the I can't be asked is a driver to not do it. So I am keeping myself motivated. I am human. I am giving myself breaks. For example, in 2 weeks, I'm off with my good lady to the Lake District for a few days. And I really will take that as downtime. And you know what? If a couple of kilos go on, they go on. But then the important thing is that's motivation. It's recharge. And then I'm more motivated to get them back off. But undoubtedly the recharge would have done me some good. So yeah, I think the thing about motivation is just latching on to a feeling or sensation that you get from doing this stuff. And you know, after I finish this today, like I said earlier, I might jump on the treadmill for a quick transition run, have a shower, and then it's just nice to sit there over breakfast, look at your numbers, and you know, you're full of endorphins, and that's what keeps me going, I think. And then of course next year when I start booking events again, I find having something in the diary is a real driver. One of the things I'm considering for this year is one of the things I did before I got fat and unfit. Every 21st of December I do a solstice run, half marathon, 10k out to the most easterly point I could get myself, watch the sunrise on the shortest day of the year, and then 10k back. And of course, over the last few years, I've certainly not been in any sort of shape to do that, metaphorically and physically. So I think I might set that as a goal for this year, to do the solstice run again for the first time in about 4 years. And of course, you know, seeing the weight come off is a motivator in itself. I went shopping with my wife last Sunday, and she was keen that I bought some jeans that fit me, because I'm still wearing big boy jeans with a stupid belt, and they look awful. And we went into a shop, and she did the personal shopper thing and picked me up a pair of slim fit. And I went, no. And she said, trust me, give 'em a go. Fit like a treat. Now something like that, that's all the motivation you need to keep going. And also, old cycling kit that I thought I was going to give away, because I never thought I'd get into it. It all fits again. And that is such a motivator. And something I've forgotten about. Yeah, Mike, I feel that. The only thing I can say is that, kudos to you, because you're probably doing a lot more exercise than me. As you were in your work as a Sparks there, because I'm desk-based. So, I suppose for somebody like yourself who's more active all day long, it's a case of factoring the fact that you are active into any training you do. I do an hour and a half walk with the dogs in the morning, then an hour on the bike. Well, that's 2.5 hours. You're probably walking around carrying stuff and up and down ladders all day. So you're, I would think, getting a lot more opportunity to use your body than I do. And I think, if I was in that position, I might just look at the bike as a treat, something like a Zwift race or something like that. But I totally accept that if you've done a proper day's graft, that's a big ask. So, yeah, I do hear you, mate. And talking of Zwift racing, I think that's one of the things I might start introducing, actually. Thank you, Jay Sakak. So, coming up for, in 30 meters, coming up for 30% of the course, hopefully not 30% gradient. Last time I rode a 30% gradient was Hard Not Pass. I think that's got to be 30% in places. On coast to coast in a day. And I went over the back of the bike. Yeah, yeah, well said, Mike. Yeah, everyone feels good at the start. I love that, group rides. Everyone's frisky until they're not. And like I say, things like this. I'm actually planning a video on why, for me personally, indoor training, and Zwift in particular, has been such a bonus from a weight loss perspective. And, one of the things is because you around here, to put in an effort, sustained effort like this for 2 hours, you'd struggle, if I'm honest. Whereas, come on here, you've got a virtual outdoors, which is always available. You've got a virtual Mont Ventoux. You've got the volcano climb. Tons of these courses where, you can put the effort in and you can measure progress. Because, every day you go out on the road, there's a different variable. Traffic, weather, road conditions, headwinds, even just getting a mechanical, Whereas you come on Zwift, the only variable is you. So Mike, I'm guessing a lot of your riding is probably weekends. Oh Jesus, look. Somebody's done this in an hour. Well, hats off to you, buddy. Mike, mate, hats off to you. You're doing a full day in construction and then that every day on the bike on Zwift. Fair play, fella. Yeah, no. Fair play, fella. I think, like I said last week, the thing about indoor training, you just never stop. It's a road ride actually feels a lot easier. I mean, at the moment, I've sustained over 200 watts for 45 minutes, which to some people would be a disaster. But to me, I'm perfectly happy with that. And I don't think I'd do that on the road. I'd be stopping for a drink, a piss, just to look at my bike, because I've convinced myself I've got another puncture. The effort's a lot more variable. Whereas you get on this, I just never seem to stop. And I think the good thing about the way that Zwift courses are put together, they design them with intervals. So they'll put a sprint just in the right place, just where you warmed up. And even on the climbs, you know, I've never done the real Ventoux, but there've been a couple of spots on here where you just get a recovery. Talking of drinking, there we go, a little flat a bit, well 8%. So yeah, just going back to bike components, I do think the wiggle thing is a shame. As a triathlete, that was a good place to get everything all under one roof. But it is what it is. Mike, no. It's the simple answer. 0. And I really need to start. And I think, as I said in a recent video, that's on the plan for the near future. One of the things that stopped me swimming was I looked stupid in a wetsuit, and I looked stupider, if that is indeed a word and not a planet. I looked stupider in jammers, and I'm vain, and I let it get to me. Is it a strength? It's not, actually. For me personally, it was when I started doing triathlon, the dread segment. But I kind of fixed that by just doing lots of it. Now, that didn't make me any faster. Well, it did. But one of the benefits was it kind of de-scarified it for me, to the extent that when I got in the water at Ironman, I would have said that the swim was going to be my slowest segment, but my most enjoyable. I just love open water swimming. And oddly, the Ironman that I did was properly hot and non-wetsuit, and I don't know, there was something about the non-wetsuit swim just made it even better. So when I go open water, get back into open water. There's a place local to me called Tri Farm with essentially a man-made lake with an 800-meter lap, and I love it. There's also another venue up at the Hadley mountain bike track, which is a small reservoir, probably, I reckon that's a 400-meter lap, but beautiful. Water quality is fantastic. The crowd of guys that run it are superb, and yeah, I love it. And so, simple answer, Mike. No, it's not a strength. It is something I really enjoy. It's something I've really missed, and I'm going to work on getting myself back into it. Yep, triathlon Dan, completely agree with you. Good guy. I follow him. There's a couple of others I follow. A guy called, I think his name's Ian, Goggles, Tyres and Trainers. I really enjoy his stuff. He does just vlogs on his training, and he's always such a, I just love watching his videos. He's very human, and I watch his videos and he'll talk through a session he's just done, and man, if I did some of the training he does, you'd need a defibrillator. And it's just really interesting to get that take on, you know, somebody who's that fit. And you know, none of this is, he's not doing it to boast, he's just sharing his journey, like a lot of us. And just a really personable sort of guy. What other triathletes? Triathlon Taran. Geezer. Yeah, they do. I totally agree with you. Do you know what I think? One of the things that motivated me to get fit again was watching stuff like Ian's on Goggles, Tyres and Trainers, and thinking, oh, geez, man, you should be doing this. Nice now mile marker here. Only 11 kilometres to the summit. Oh, good. There's a running race I used to do every year called the Ventoux 15, and it is 15 miles in the middle of winter of, how can I put this, mud, hills and pain. And first time I ran it, they put mile markers up, and it was actually snowing. It was a blizzard that year, and we ran past the 2 miles done board, and somebody glibly said, "Oh, just a half marathon from here." And even though I laughed, it made me feel like that 11 kilometers to go board. It's just made me feel. But this is when you earn it. And whilst we're on Ventoux, I don't know if anyone's read the book Put Me Back on My Bike, biography of Tom Simpson. What a guy. And I can't remember if Zwift has a recreation of the Tom Simpson memorial, but if they do, I'll certainly take a minute to remember him. Well, not remember him, but honour him, because I love that book. Funny enough, I read that the last time I was in the Lake District for a few days. If you can get hold of a copy, really worth a read. Even just an eye-opener on what it was like to race the Tour back in those days. You know, when the organisers limited you to how many bidons of water you could take and what nutrition you could carry. So you'd have riders literally raiding bars, necking brandy, wine and whatever, and then going off and doing this. Different breed. So the heart rate is keeping up a little bit this morning. I think that might hint at me being a bit dehydrated. But it's meant to be a threshold effort. So threshold it will be. Right, there we go. Yeah, so back to bike components. There is a little bit of me that says maybe I'll just leave that new 105 on the shelf, ride the old Frankenstein 105 group set through winter, and then treat it to something new in the summer. Equally, I recently, for the first time in my cycling history, waxed a chain. Certainly picked the wrong time of year to do that. So, you know, the old 10-speed chain currently on the Trek is good enough for winter and good enough for being spruced up with WD-40 and a few drops of wet loop. So I might just leave it on there. And it's working really well. One thing I did notice whilst hunting around eBay is the high cost of second-hand parts in comparison to what they are new. Especially shifters. Go on, fella. Keep pushing. Mm. 10 kilometres, just over halfway. Now it's worth pointing out that at this point, in terms of elevation, you'd be 3/4 of the way up to Zwift. So just to give you some idea of the scale of this climb. Looks like a fellow watt biker there. Go on, buddy. I did say there wouldn't be a lot of talking. And also I like to, when I get a recovery, spin a little faster as well. Trust me, my looks can be deceptive. Appreciate that. Just trying to hit one of the reaction buttons. Oops. I knew that had happened. So, yeah, I managed to cock that up, trying to hit a reaction button, and God only knows what happened there. Let's see if we can get chat back. Ah, there we go, chat's back. Yeah, I might look that way, Mike, but it hurts. I quite enjoy it though. I think I suffer, not so much with a long climb like this. I actually think I suffer with sprints. Short, sharp efforts. They're what kill me. And equally, you know, that I'm sustaining 200-ish. When you think my FTP, so I'm told, by Zwift, I think it's 263. You know, you're a decent portion below FTP there. So it's a more measured and sustained effort. So look, now under 200. And I'm going to take the recovery. I'm not going to work the gears here. Yeah, I'm actually on a TV at the moment. I've got a Mac Mini plugged into quite a big, I think that's 50-inch TV on the wall in front of me, which again, one of the things that I think for me makes Zwift a bit more bearable. I can certainly do it on a laptop. In the pain cave I had before we built this one, it was laptop and small TV all the way, you know. Or even on a tablet. I've done that. But I don't know, there is just something about a big screen that's a bit more immersive. Also, I think the laptops that I've got struggle to run Zwift. So, you know, the little Mac Mini does an admirable job. So that's kind of a preference. Now, having said that, Apple TV 4K, that was what I was using before the Mac Mini, and again, all day long, very good Zwift experience. The only thing it struggles with is the number of Bluetooth connections you can put into it. I can feel that there's probably a service due on the Watt bike. Getting a squeaking noise. So yeah, I think the bigger the TV you can run Zwift on, the better. If I could have done, I might even have gone for a projector set up in here. Just not really practical. So yeah, I did, as I was saying previously, second-hand bike components really seem to be either holding their value or overpriced on eBay right now. So Mike, if you're still watching, I can assure you there's some suffering going on at this moment. Yeah, I think I do. And I'll be back out again on the road tomorrow. Little hill loop I've got. And, you know, I'll probably just have an easy day tinkering with the bikes after this. Get some protein in. So I did used to use a recovery drink, CMP Pro Recover, but I've become a bit skeptical of the amount of sugar in that product. So after this, it'll probably be like a 4-egg omelette to get some protein in, and yeah, then an easy day. Now, obviously, if I was doing a day's graft, like your days probably pan out, that might not be the case. Now this bit hurts. Boy. What's the best power up? Yeah, good question. Horses for courses. Overall, I think the featherweight is my power up of choice. But, you know, only if you've got a short, punchy climb to get up. The aero helmet, to be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen any value. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, for a featherweight now, that would last about 45 minutes. The aero helmet, I suppose it must give you an advantage on a descent. But minimal. The drafting bonus, I don't know what that's for. And again, I'm not sure I've seen any advantage, but I'm probably using them wrong. And there are a couple you get just in races. I think you can appear invisible. And you can, I think there's one that stops other people drafting you. Here we go, 999, 1,000 meters. Right, 2/3 of the way up. Now it does look, to my untrained and rather ropey eyes, like we begin to plateau a little bit. And I guess that's the way these things form. And a lot of your ski resorts, the green runs are at the top of the hill, which seems odd. But most of them formed glacially. So the deeper the groove is at the bottom. Or the steeper grooves in the profile. Every turn of the cranks is a turn nearer the top. That's all you got to tell yourself. The later stages of a race. And she said, simple. Sooner I finish, sooner I can eat. So, what are we saying? I think we'd have been up the Alp by now. So this one genuinely is a sufferfest. 7 kilometers. 6.8% average. Don't give up. No U-turns. Thin air, don't care. Yes, I do. These are all very motivational quotes, Zwift, but they don't really help. Spin, spin, spin. Stretch those legs. Until you're getting near the top, because from the videos I've watched of people climbing it in the racing, it gets a bit more barren towards the top. Oh, lovely. 3%. Bring it on. Oh, well, it was nice whilst it lasted. Clean pace. Oh, man. Oh, man. Do you, part of that is obscured, Mike. Do you eat a Zwift workout? I do some of the Zwift workouts, actually. I love them. One particular good one, Emily's short mix. If you've only got half an hour, you can really make it count with that. Another favourite, I think, would be Lavender Unicorn. Again, these are interval efforts, really well planned. What I do with Zwift workouts is I look at the workout Garmin's recommending, and I take those blocks and I build my own workout, so that if I jump on the bike and the Garmin says, I want you to do, I don't know, a tempo or threshold effort, of 4 blocks of 260 watts for 3 minutes or something like that. I just transfer all of that across into my own custom workout. Right. He's not beating me to the arch. Oh, please let it be a feather up at the arch. Which it wasn't. "400 meters, come on Ian." Less than a Sunday ride. So yeah, Zwift workouts, Mike. I like the ones they've got, or selected ones, but equally, I personally get a lot of value from being able to build my own. And when I say my own, I mean copy what Garmin's telling me. Oh. You know what, I'm glad I'm not doing this at 140 kilos. I'd have probably had about less than 800 meters of ascent, I'm guessing, at this point. Oh, this is feeling like the top now. Still 5k to go though. And Mike, if you're still watching or listening, thank you very much for the yeah, good question. No, I don't. I would probably benefit from them, but with the Garmin head unit, and even maybe not so much with the watch, but with the head unit, I've still got enough clarity to see the numbers. When that changes, yeah, I think contact lenses would be a thing. Oh, Mike, do you eat on a Zwift workout? No. No, I don't. I've always had a kind of rule of thumb in my head, any ride under 3 hours, I don't eat for. And I mean, you know, just to give you some context, I was up at 4 this morning, took the dogs out, came in here, got on this, so this will all be before breakfast. And again, that's probably a flawed training strategy. I bet if I was getting, I don't know, 20 grams of carbs per hour, I probably would be quicker. And I think maybe that's kind of a consequence of where I've been for so long, wanting to get the weight off. I will also limit myself. So, yeah, what are we in the moment? So according to Garmin, this ride has cost me, calorically, 1400 so far. But I try not to make that an excuse to simply go and replace those calories. Equally, now I'm trying to get a bit more of a genuine training and less weight loss focus. That will probably change. Yeah, it's a funny old thing, the Garmin's. Mike, what Garmin are you using? Hopefully this is beginning to look like I'm struggling. Really feeling it in the legs now. Probably going to be stone dead last up here this morning so far. $300 meters. Yeah, Mike, I've seen those. I think they would be horrendously expensive. And from what I've heard, not very good. I think definitely contacts is the way forward. Or a bigger Garmin. Or a Garmin that talks to you. We could do that, right? Tell me if it looks like I'm struggling. $10.49 solar. Nice. 1040 solar. How's the solar working out? Because I've seen some pretty good reviews of the battery life on that. I mean, I've got the 1030. And that thing, compared to my other head units, feels like it's plutonium powered. But yeah, is the solar all I imagine it to be in terms of battery life? Struggling now, by the way. Little recovery. I'm going to take it. I can almost smell the top from here. Keep pushing. Nearly there. I can see the radio tower. Now, is it an observatory, TV station, transmitter at the top of the real thing? I guess we'll find out. I did, yeah. I did wonder actually, Mike. Bloody hell. Fair play, fella. 4 watts per kilo at this stage of the game. And Mike, do you use your Garmin when you're on the turbo? Oh man. Do we take the rest or? There's another little ramp coming. I'm just going to go with this. Come on. Cadence is your friend, I think, here. Stay with it to the end. Come on. No, just curious actually, mate. Because I think you've got a kicker. So I'm guessing that does transmit Bluetooth and plus. I use my 1030 with the watt bike here. To be honest with you, it's only replicating what I'm seeing on screen. But one of the reasons I do it, given where I've been, is I think I get a more accurate calorie burn with the Garmin's. Two kilometers, 100 meters of ascent. Sorry, I'm fooling myself. That's 200 meters of ascent left. Come on. 7.5. 2 kilometers. Oh, right, okay. Yeah. I get you, Mike. Oh, boy. Come on, Ian. Keep with it. Oh, man. Thanks for that, Mike. Yeah, that was genuine. I think that That's got to be the thumbnail, isn't it? One mile left. Oh man. Oh boy. Just around the next corner, I'm sure. Oh, Lordy. Spin, spin, spin. Yeah, it don't feel good, Mike. I've had easier Saturdays. Spin, spin, spin. Get it out the legs. One more push. Come on. Cadence is your friend. I can see the top. Let it hurt. Let it hurt. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Oh, there you go. Glad to see they've recreated that. Just doffing a virtual cap to Mr. Simpson. Here's a feature for one of your updates, Zwift. Why not give us a button that lets you give that memorial a ride on? Oh, bloody hell. When do you think how close he was to the top? One kilometre. Oh man. Well, yeah, I am, Mike. And if the rider in front of me I don't know, there's only been 8 people up it so far. There's a lot of people just in front of me. So I think I'm going to be stone dead last. I don't care. I wish it could, man. We'll give it a go. He's got a tyre. This is about all I got. Oh. Oh man. Oh man. Go on. That's about all I had. He is, isn't he? Fair play. And he's putting the power out consistently as well. A couple of them doing that. Whoa. Right. Come on in. 20 metres. 20 metres of ascent. Up that. Up those keys. Empty the tank. Very possibly no, Mike. That might have to be a Sunday thing. Oh, Lord. Well, here we are. top of Ventoux. Lord, that'll do you. And I didn't even get a top 10. Shit. Thanks, Mike. Well, I think I'm going to have a little easy spin now. I might even do some of the descent, just to demotivate people coming the other way. But Mike, thank you very much for the chat this morning. I've really appreciated it. And if I'm honest, it's actually made this feel a bit like a group ride. You know, like the sort of conversation you have on group rides. It's been great. Really appreciated it. Really appreciate you watching. Really appreciate anyone that watched any part of this. Have a great Sunday. Saturday, did I cheat? Have a great Saturday and a great Sunday. I hope wherever you are the weather holds. And thanks, mate. Hope wherever you are the weather holds and you get some decent K's in. Or maybe even see some of you on Zwift tomorrow, depending on what the weather's doing here. But have a good day, everyone. I'm going to end the live stream and then go and gently weep to myself. Cheers, guys.